Hello and welcome to another game of Dawn of War 3. It's been a little while since I've done a game. There's been some drought of good games to play, some drought of reasons to play games, but after the Annihilation patch we have a game here which is specifically chosen to be a game from the Annihilation patch. We have in the bottom side, I'm going to do first, the opponent SkyThor in this very green Eldar livery, and in the top we have your boy from Game Replays, Dullahan. And normally an Orc player, he decided to try out some Space Marines to do what he has told me he thinks is a rather cheesy, a possibly rather cheesy turret strategy. So here we see the first turret going down on the Eldar side of the map. And you know, this is just, you know, part of the practicing, the figuring out that a lot of players are doing, trying to discover whether these doctrines are actually going to be worth taking. Now, the turret is going to come up as these Dire Avengers are walking under it, and there's another squad back here, but 2 Dire Avengers probably won't be enough to take on a turret on their own, and this Bone Singer is just going to immediately find the turret and get under some fire. She's going to teleport away. But the turret is now hitting these Dire Avengers. And I would be, if I was this Eldar player, I'd be so upset. I honestly might have alt F4'd already at someone doing something like this cheese. No, I wouldn't have. But this, if I lost this game afterwards, I would be so upset. Someone doing something this cheesy. An absolute tower rush. So we have a drop down here coming to reinforce this, and they're actually Devastators. We've gone straight first squad into Devastators, so they're getting into this heavy cover. We have a heavy bolt of Devastators in the heavy cover that the Servitor had already acquired for them, and then we have a turret on the other side. This Warrior Portal was teleported up here to try and force the victory here, but this is actually now going to come into a pretty bad position. The Banshees are getting in there onto the heavy Devastators, which is quite bad for him. The Standard coming down to keep them safe. Well, these Tactical Marines coming in the side, they're going to try and focus all of their fire from all 3 of these onto these Banshees, but the heavy cover's in the way. You can't shoot through that heavy cover even if you're ally. You need to walk into there, buddy. Devastators now running out, which gets the Howling Banshees out. So this high ground is held. I think Dullahan might be focusing too much on getting these Howling Banshees off. He could sort of just stay around here and get some killed. But another squad of Howling Banshees is going to come up and going to get onto the turret. Not that that does anything because it's a turret. It doesn't care. Good little micro there. This Howling Banshee is now out. Going to still chase it. That's maybe a bit too much. But now he's on the low ground and can hit up onto the high ground to defend this turret. This turret is getting quite low, but if he can get back up there... Oh no, the Howling Banshee's going to get off. These guys are hitting the shield for some reason rather than hitting the turret, so the turret is still alive. And this is an awfully cheesy strategy, but I do like it. Obviously, this maybe getting teleported up here wasn't the correct response, but I mean, I feel like maybe you could say it would tank some shots, but it doesn't look like it is at all. This turret is getting pretty fast onto here. I would like to see him put some more units into here and get the Servitor out here to repair this turret, though, because this turret's actually looks like it's going to go down, which is going to put an awkward stop to this. Oh no, it's not quite. He needs to get a Servitor in there and repair it, though, because otherwise it will go down. But we're just seeing Howling Banshees falling down left and right here, honestly. And he actually is taking the elite point behind this as well, which is a very interesting way to go. He's got enough for the Iron Maw as well now, so Iron Maw's going to come in. Is that Striking Scorpions? I didn't actually check what the Eldar had. He does have Striking Scorpions. Yes, Striking Scorpions, Maka, and Kaya. Kaya hasn't received that nerf yet. Oh, I'm an absolute idiot. There's Striking Scorpions. Kaya hasn't received his nerf yet, so he's still incredibly powerful. Striking Scorpions are nowhere near the powerhouse they used to be, but they're still good. And they're not going to be good against Devastators on the high ground and an elite coming down the other side, but they still have their power. So this turret push has now been diverted. Now, if we're looking at what damage this turret push has done, we're actually going to see that not really anything. Like, it was a nice setup, but unless this is, you're going to be able to hold this with, you know, some more repair put onto it and some more units helping it. It killed some Banshees, fine, but this is still pre 10 minutes, so they're getting like most of the money for those back. They have 3 requisition points on this side, a requisition and a power going down on each side. And Marines have a power. So economically right now, the Eldar is in an absolutely fine state. Maybe hitting here wasn't the best idea. I'm not sure. Maybe you know, hitting here would have been better so that you can, you know, hold tank and be able to kill these generators with it. I'm not sure. Maybe if you hit here, you could hit that as well. That could be really cool. But in a game like Dawn of War, I think it's going to be hard to find a situation where this will be useful. Very interesting that the upgrade, the plasma upgrade for the Marines has been rushed out this fast. The Banshees are going to get right here onto a load of tactical Marines. This is not good for them. And we have the Ironmore in the middle. They've actually, they've got the rocket launcher already. They haven't gone with the Flamer. That's an interesting choice. Normally people go with the Flamer now that there are lots more infantry early on that you can hit with that Flamer. So now all these Banshees just going to get absolutely shred on this side of the fight. They chased out a little way too far there. So now we have Doctrine and Arsenal up for the Marine player, with the Warrior Porter up for the Eldar. A big sneaky hunting band of Striker Scorpions and Howling Banshees going to come in here. You can see this one shot of DAs. It's going to get hit by this Devastator, but now the Striking Scorpion's going to come out of nowhere. The Banshee should probably come down this way, and he is now sending some of them around here. Throwing a Plasma Grenade as well, which is going to hit one squad of the Space Marines. They're actually throwing up a barracks over here as well to be able to have a forward reinforce point, and I assume that by the fact that this is the turret game, he will throw down a turret bound here at some point as well to try and keep this point extra defended. But the Warrior Port coming in as well to try and fight for the Eldar side. But this Howling Banshee is now in an awful crossfire between all of these heavy bolters, with the Plasma Marines being so strong on their own just to hold up, and then the Heavy Devastators in the back getting all of the damage done. Some good movement there to try and keep everything in front of the Striker Scorpions, but the Striker Scorpions will push their way through into the Devastators. The banner is going to come down now to keep the Devastators alive a bit longer, but one of those Devastators will go down, and the other one is now in an awful position between all of the Eldar forces, with some Banshees getting on some of the Marines to slow down the damage going into the Striker Scorpions, but they will go down. The bolters are now at the right side of the fight again. They can set up, but the Dire Avengers, very good, switching to melee mode there, are going to take them out and get that out of there. However, there is still a Plasma squad of Marines who aren't being held up here, so as their guns come out from overheating, they're going to be able to shoot, and another drop pod has come down here, which has scouts in. Going to be able to hit a blind grenade there on at least one Howling Banshee squad. The other Howling Banshee squad has gone down now. That Howling Banshee squad has gone down now. This is the strength of those plasma guns. If you can just keep them alive, they just end up doing so much damage overall here. And yeah, this is really powerful. Rushing those plasmas can really give you just this super strong force, even in small numbers. So the Marine player now has access to all of his tier 1, has only taken power points, and has only taken 2 of those power points. So there is a lot more requisition going around for the Eldar player. However, the Eldar player hasn't really been able to use it that efficiently. They've sort of just been throwing Eldar troops into this more powerful set of Marine units. And this shield generator is actually just straight going to go down. Putting up another power point up here. There are so many of these animations now, I never quite know which is going to be which. So there is a Bone Singer in there that's put up this shield. And I can't see the shield because the damn attack thing's over there. No, it's not going to help. It's there we go. You can see the health now. Poor Banshee, or Bone Singer, just going to get destroyed for what she has done to this Marine force, making them wait a bit longer. And Eldar just has nothing right now. I don't know if they've got some. There we go. Dark Reapers is what they're going for. They're just spamming out Dark Reapers, actually making no Dire Avengers here from this point, which is going to mean that they're going to be a lot slower getting an army, and when they get an army, it's going to be only Dark Reapers, which might be able to hold this high ground decently well, but are not going to be as good in the longer fight. Vortex Grenade going up on that high ground. Devastators on this high ground, who we could see could hit those Dark Reapers up there. The Dark Reapers are going to try and come and defend. Maka is coming down. Maka throwing some shots out. Got the portal up. The shield up. Have some Assault Marines coming out here as now. Oh, that was a Maka hit onto the Devastators. Just half-elfs them. Got some scouts up here as well, just slowly harassing down this resource point. Striking Scorpions coming up this side. Entirely undefended side point, so they can take this down. Oh, and the Assault Marines have got in on Maka, and Maka are starting to take some damage. They're going to just jump over here to knock up some of these Dire Reaper squads. Dire Reapers? Dark Reapers. But then Maka's just going to get the shield up again, and these Assault Marines are actually just going to fall down. Going to just get out on a tiny sliver of health, but Marines taking a lot of damage here. Trying to force this fight over the shield with all of these Dark Reapers here is not working out at all. I do not think this is a good idea. They are going to get out of here now. I think Dullahan at this point has sort of pushed too much. This side has gone down entirely to these striking Scorpions, so he needs to just retreat, repair everything. He's getting up this machine cult. He's in the second tech right now, which is Eldar opponent is also. There's the Sky Portal going down. So interesting, nice. They're both sort of transitioning into tier 2 at about the same time. We're going to get to start seeing this stuff go down. The economy has sort of very slowly switched here because the Eldar has lost most of their points, and they've still had more points overall for this whole game. But as it comes now, the power output is actually well in the favour of Dullahan, which is actually the more important one. Especially with all the upgrades that a Marine player likes to get. But the Striking Scorpions, still good at doing these harassments on the other side of the map, even with their damage slightly nerfed. So we have a bit of a lull now. These Striking Scorpions going to try and Dullahan's going to try and catch them out. He's got the vision just in case they're hunting. He's going to throw a jump out to try and get in front of them, and he's going to hit a good 3 models of them. Going to get the Vortex Grenade on them as well. It's a good start, but the Striker Scorpion's going to leap out of that. Getting to very low health here. And it does look like they will go down. Oh, last stand from Maka, of course. But they're going to get last standed in quite a bad position, so they're probably just going to still go down. Just wasting a bit more of the Marines' time. He could continue to push up here and actually catch out a little bit of the Eldar's army if he did. Still a lot of it is around the side. Maka is back healing up at the base. So it's a Whirlwind that's going to come out. That's an interesting choice. Whereas on the Eldar side we see that nothing is actually coming out. He's probably saving up for a Falcon. So the Whirlwind does make a good sense here, especially with how many Dark Reapers he saw before. He can place it up here and just start spamming down shots onto this point. If he pushes into it again and they once again set up all over here on this ramp, he can just start hitting there with the big shots. But he's actually going to come up the bottom side, and he's going to start getting some hits on this turret with his kill team. Very brave of his kill team there to push in, but he also has his Terminators able to come up now. The Eldar are pushing this side of the map, so he knows that there's going to be nothing else coming on him. Although his kill team are taking a lot of damage, I don't think they can do this on their own. Whirlwind has actually been dropped right down here though, so is the Whirlwind going to go on the turret as well? It looks like it is. But the Eldar are hitting the shield generator on the other side. Whirlwind does do a lot of damage to the turret. These guys are going to try and sneak out now. The Terminators have still not been put down, even though they are available now. On the Eldar side, still a couple of points away from Kaya. This first shield generator will go down, and with this army, they could push a shield generator with this amount. So Assault Marines are going to jump over that blast and get in there. Still really want to see the Terminators actually come down. He may be waiting for the Assault Terminators, though, but the Eldar are not going to go for any sort of race. They're going to back up and try and defend this, which isn't the best idea, seeing as this turret is already going down, so, you know, you're not actually going to be able to defend this turret. Orbital Drop's getting on the back. The Assault Marine's trying to slow them up. The Orbital Drop won't actually stand anything, and will put these Last Cannon Devastators into a really bad position, but Maka is running here in the back to try and get onto the Devastators. She's got onto one squad, but the other squad are just tearing her apart. The Assault Terminators have come down now. Unfortunate, as I think the other Terminators are cooler. And a huge stun there by Maka. Maka has just absolutely caught up all of those units, including the Assault Terminators, allowing the Falcon to get in onto this Whirlwind, which will go down. These Heavy Bolters are now going to go out, but there's this huge group of Dark Reapers on the top that are just not accounted for. The Falcon will go down to these Terminators. The Whirlwind is actually going to get picked up at the last point. That is a nice little move there. But these these Devastators have all gone down. But now the Assault Terminators are just in upon the Dark Reapers, and there's no turret up here for them to hide from. So they're just going to have to absolutely scatter. Maka is down here fighting one lonely Marine. Let's see if the Assault Terminators can catch her out and get her killed. They probably can. Ooh, Assault Terminators are beefy kids. Oh, she's going to escape though on a tiny bit. Tiny bit of health. Probably shouldn't continue just to push in like this, because they're going to start getting caught up. But just like they're going to take the Sky Portal. Oh, the Whirlwind coming in. The redeployed Whirlwind actually going to do a ton of damage. Not quite take anything out, but get Maka really dangerously close. Assault Terminator is going to teleport back to the safety of their Whirlwind. And they have a second Whirlwind now as well, getting a Land Speeder out. So they have pushed down pretty strongly on one side now. Striking Scorpions are going to come and see if they can do some harassment up here, but there's going to be nothing to harass. Marine Force is just retreating to try and group up for a last push on this base. There is now a Land Speeder out, which can start rolling around with that multi-melter and taking out some buildings. Well, I'm going to hit on these Striking Scorpions. Not entirely sure how useful that is, because you're not going to get to take him out. He's running away though, which after you've seen all the Whirlwind batteries used, you could just stay there and take that. But I guess they know he's there now, so he's scared of getting caught out again, maybe. That's fair enough. So we're getting a warrior portal coming down, another warrior portal. I'm not sure if that is a mistake, or if he wants to be able to pump out Dark Reapers even faster, perhaps. Although, this player, as much as I do want to say that, you know, Dullahan is playing this pretty well, this player does not seem to be the most up on his macro. Or anything. He hovering a ton of resources. All this resource could be already in units. If Dullahan pushes and attacks right now, having these as actual units already, which he could have done, would be a much nicer. He's also going for an only Shadow Spectre lineup, which to me, and I don't know, I'm not sure if I can read this player's mind, but to me, what that means is, I mean, I'm just going to box all of these when I've got them and just right click on this, and then once I've done that, I'm just going to right click on this, and I'm just going to hope that he doesn't kill it quicker than me. So the Striker Scorpions are going to get on some of these Marines, but the Holy Standard's going to head down and actually get a good stun onto them. Kaya is coming in here as well. Like I said, Kaya's not been nerfed yet, so Kaya could just destroy this whole army on his own if he wanted. Getting a good walk back there. Dullahan hasn't split it now, so taking a time to activate that means that he won't manage to catch anything. Dullahan will move it out. But the Diarrhea Grenades will do a lot of damage here. Kaya going to jump down. Going to get his last stand. It looks like that the Scorpions will have to have their last stand as well. Macra is still safe on the other side of this. This huge army of dudes have just been waiting because they don't actually do anything to this Marine army. They just sort of... I mean, they might do something to Assault Terminators. Do they have heavy armor? They do have heavy armor, so they're going to kill these Terminators real fast, but once they're done, that's sort of all of their use gone, really. And the Assault Marines are just going to kill the power core before they do anything. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, these things seem to just be... They are siege. They are siege units, and that is what they do and what they can do. Dullahan's just going to clear them out and then just go back to focusing this with most of his stuff, while that one brave assault terminator is just going to go bashing stuff inside the enemy turret. Got some last cannon devastators powering up here as well, which will start clearing this much faster, and the whirlwind goes down. And congratulations to Dullahan with quite a easy start, but didn't actually really do anything. As I mentioned during the game, I think it's sort of going to be incredibly hard to cheese, really, in this game. Sure, he killed some units, but those things are so easy to remake that unless you're taking a considerable eco advantage behind that, which you can't really do when you're spending that much on a cheese. And after that, you see Dullahan never use the turret again, you know. There are moments when it perhaps could have been useful, but I think the cost is just perhaps so prohibitive that it makes it not worth doing, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because, you know, I, for one, don't want a wall of turrets in front of me every time I push out. So, yeah, thank you for Dullahan for submitting this replay, 2 game replays, and I will see you all next time.